Hello, and welcome to episode 79 of Prose. This week, we're fortunate to have quasi-adapted scripts/screenplays from a previous guest author, Jeff Glauser. Through that medium, get on board for an awkward interaction demonstrative of a thorough lack of understanding, and look to a mattress as a bit of an albatross for a hapless young father. Please go follow the show on social media under the handle @ProsePodcast. Even more amazing would be if you could head over to Apple Podcasts and leave a rating and or review for Prose. Ratings and reviews set this show up for continuing into the future, and they let me know how you think I'm doing. For easiest access to the show, subscribe using Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or whatever podcast catcher is your favorite. Before we get on to our stories, let me say one last time that in the very near future, Patreon will be a part of the Prose family. I have some interesting rewards and some awesome swag coming your way in the very near future. I know I've been saying this for about a year now. I promise it's real this time around. Moreover, Prose will look to attend a con this summer, so keep your ears peeled for that. Can you keep your ears peeled? Here's to hoping that you can. Anyway, thanks for listening. Let's get to the tale, shall we? This week we have Jeff Glauser's What a Fool Believes and The Mattress. Enjoy. A Fool Believes. An original script by Jeff Glauser.
Title card. He came from somewhere back in her long ago.
Exterior. Cafe. Day. Derek, 30s, casually walks past a cafe with outdoor seating when his eyes catch Kathy, also 30s, with a classy look about her. Kathy is sipping a cup of coffee as she gazes at her cell phone. Derek does a double take and turns back toward Kathy. Kathy? Kathy looks up cautiously, sees it's Derek, and her facial expression shifts to mild disappointment. Oh! Darren! Derek. Derek, how are you? I'm doing all right. Derek repeatedly nods his head and smiles while staring at her during an awkward silence that lasts several seconds. Kathy looks increasingly uncomfortable. It's really good to see you. It's been a while. Yeah. More smiling, nodding, and staring from Derek. More of the same discomfort from Kathy. He motions toward the open chair next to her. You mind if Well, actually... He helps himself to the seat.
Title card. Trying hard to recreate what had yet to be created.
We had some good times together, didn't we? Kathy looks at him curiously and slowly shakes her head.
Title card. Once in her life, she musters a smile for his nostalgic tale.
Remember that time at the beach, under the stars? She musters a smile. No.
Title card. Never coming near what he wanted to say, only to realize it never really was.
I'm sorry, I'm not sure what I was thinking.
Title card. She had a place in his life. He never made her think twice.
You know, you had a special place in my life. Yeah, Derek, I know.
Title card. As he rises to her apology, anybody else would surely know.
She rises to get up. He rises with her. Listen, I'm so sorry, but I have to go.
Title card. He's watching her go.
Already? Yeah, I have to be somewhere. But it was good seeing you again, Desmond. It was good seeing you too, Kathy. He reaches over to embrace her in a hug, which she reluctantly allows.
Title card. But what a fool believes he sees, no wise man has the power to reason away.
She walks quickly away as he watches her go. Several steps down, she turns back, notices Derek still watching, and begins to walk even quicker. Yeah, she still wants me. Fade to black. Doobie Brothers' What a Fool Believes plays during credits. Thank you for listening to What a Fool Knows by Jeff Glauser. Jeff Glauser is a freelance writer, digital marketing, and public relations professional. Over the past 20 years, his works have been featured in dozens of publications around the world, including regular contributions for the Associated Press and Bleacher Report. Jeff has previously served as an adjunct professor of composition and creative writing. He currently lives in St. Augustine, Florida, with his family. All sounds you hear come from YouTube's recently launched royalty-free audio library. The specific track you are hearing is being used under a CC 0.1.0 Universal Public Domain Dedication License. Please stick around for some more fun this week from Mr. Glauser, with another attempt from prose at a script/screenplay reading. Well, here we go. The Mattress by Jeff Glauser. It was going to be a productive Friday for Jeff. Brunch with his wife and in-laws, a phone call with his lawyer regarding his chances at a case with his former employer who just laid him off, a potentially lucrative business call, perhaps get some writing in to boot. He was determined to make momentum his friend, finally break the rut that always seemed to linger in his life, like an unwanted house guest that periodically shows up unannounced. For the first half of the day, things went as planned, until the business call approaches. They don't pick up, so he starts working on some new networking emails. Around 1:30 p.m., a knock on the door. Jeff walks downstairs, leads a barking chase into his wife's office, and answers the door. 2 cops are there, and ask for his name. Upon confirmation, he's told to put his hands against the wall, and he gets them cuffed. There's a warrant for his arrest from Clay County for dumping. "11 days prior, Jeff was helping Matt move from his house. Matt asked if Jeff still wanted the queen-size mattress in the garage. It was a very nice mattress, foam pillow top, and seemingly brand new, as it was still in plastic wrap. Jeff called Missy and she said, "Yeah, that will be part of Kaya's new bed. She's building on wood slates." Problem is that it fit awkwardly on the top of Jeff's aging Nissan Rogue. He drove down the road to Walmart and picked up a few bungee cords, came back and, with Matt's help, tied the mattress on top, connecting 2 of the cords on narrow hooks inside the front seats, to other hooks in the back, and a couple on the clotheslines also in the back. It bears saying at this point that neither Jeff nor Matt have any prior mattress tying experience. Jeff in particular struggles tirelessly for hours trying to put IKEA furniture together, only to fail repeatedly. But we digress. Jeff wishes Matt all the best in the next chapter of his life. They give each other warm man hugs, and Jeff sets off on his hour-long trip back home from Orange Park, mattress in tow. Shortly after pulling out, it begins to rain. A few minutes later, right before pulling onto I-295, Jeff notices the mattress has begun to slip, then slips some more. Then it slips to the point where it cracks off his rearview windshield wiper. At this point, he pulls over to a vacant commercial lot, spends about 10 minutes in what was now a steady drizzle trying to get it positioned correctly, and sets back on his way. He put his hands on the wheel, took a few deep breaths, and tells himself, "You've got this. We'll make it home." I'll just take the slow lane and keep my hazards on. He proceeds onto the highway and almost gets as far as the bridge when he notices it's slipping again. This time, to avoid causing a monumental catastrophe on the road, he decides to pull off at the next exit. By the time he gets off and approaches the light, the mattress is now clinging to the 2 remaining intact cords. Directly next to him is a storage unit. Jeff pulls into the facility and parks directly in front of the electronic gate. The mattress was not making its way back on his car, so he takes it off completely and lays it by the side of the building. Jeff walks into the storage facility. There's a lady behind the desk talking to a presumed customer. Then they both turn their attention toward Jeff. "You can't keep that here," she said. Okay," Jeff replied. "It's just that I can't get it back on my car. It's raining, and I'm afraid if I get back on the road, there could be a major catastrophe. Do you have any idea what I can do?" She shrugged smugly. But it can't stay here." "You don't think someone from a storage facility would want this? It's honestly, it's a brand new mattress. Consider it a donation." She shakes her head. "Listen, I have no idea what else to do here. If I go back out there, I'll kill someone. Is that what you want?" "Not my problem," she replied. Jeff gets exasperated. Unbelievable! He looks next door and sees a gas station. "Fine," he said to the storage unit lady. "I'll move it over to the gas station. Would that make you happy?" "I don't care what you do, but you got to get it off this property," she said. Jeff rolls his eyes, takes a big sigh, and walks back out into the rain and starts dragging the increasingly slippery queen-size mattress across the grassy knoll separating the storage unit place and the gas station. He looks over and sees the storage lady walk outside and start writing down his license plate number. "What the hell are you doing?" Jeff said. "That's not where it belongs," she said. "But it's not on your property anymore," Jeff responded. "Doesn't matter, that's not where it belongs." Jeff is now furious. He looks over and about 100 feet away is a dumpster behind the gas station. "Fine, I'll take it over to the dumpster," he yelled at her. "Thanks for the help!" Jeff then lugs the mattress the extra 30 yards or so and attempts to get into the dumpster itself. Not happening. Therefore, he lays it on the inside of the fence and leans it up. By this time, the lady and alleged customer were back to their original positions inside. Jeff walks back in. "So, it's over by the dumpster now. You happy?" "Yeah, I'm still reporting you, son." Jeff is now fuming. "What the hell is your problem, lady?" She waves at him. "Have a nice day, sir." "Are you serious?" "Goodbye." "I did nothing wrong. If you report me, I'm going to come after you too." He looks at her name tag. "Malika, thanks for your humanity, Malika. Have a great day." He walks out and flips her the bird. Back to the present day. Jeff asks to go back inside his house to get his stuff and make calls. He asks if the cops can take his cuffs off. They say no. They then follow him upstairs to his office after declining Jeff's request to take off their shoes first. Still cuffed, he calls Missy on speakerphone, who is in her car on her way to work. "Hey, hun, we've got a situation."
What's going on?
"I'm getting arrested. The cops are right here and I'm in cuffs. Remember the incident a week and a half ago when I left the mattress by the dumpster?"
Oh my god, are you kidding?
"I wish I weren't. You're going to need to let your parents know they have to pick up the kids. They said I can call you when I get there." Then, a call to his lawyer. Voicemail. "Hey, sorry to bug you again, but I've got an issue much more serious than this morning now. Please get back to me as soon as you get this." Then, a call to his business partner to let him know something urgent came up and he can't take the call.
What's going on?
He asked. At this point, the cops are getting impatient and tell him it's time to get moving. "Getting arrested, gotta go," Jeff said and hung up. They go downstairs and the cops grab Jeff's wallet and keys. "I'm not going to be able to put my shoes on while I'm cuffed," Jeff said. "Can you help me?" "They're only going to take them off when you get down there anyways," cop number 1 says. "Do you have sandals you can put on?" Jeff points to the sandals. The cop picks them up as Jeff struggles to take his socks off with his feet. "Don't worry about it, just put them over the top," cop number 1 says. "All right, let's go," said cop number 2. Just then, Jeff sees his neighbor's car pulling up to their garage from his front window. "Can you please at least wait until my neighbors go inside?" Jeff pleaded. "This is humiliating enough as it is." "Yeah, but if he starts hanging out outside, we can't wait all day," cop number 2 replied. The car enters the garage and then they walk Jeff, dressed in a tattered red shirt, cargo shorts, socks, and sandals, across the street from the same neighbor's house where the cop cars were parked, reposition his hands to his back, and place him in the patrol car. "Any reason why you parked across from my neighbors?" Jeff asked cop number 1. "Yeah, we wouldn't want you seeing us approaching and then start pumping lead," he answered. Jeff wondered incredulously if this was a common occurrence for littering warrants. This was followed by a second incredulous thought that there were warrants for littering violations in the first place. The first hour at the station consisted of getting stripped, possessions taken, booked, printed, and posing for a mugshot. Jeff was going for the incredulous smirk look. In his total shock and disbelief of what was happening to him, the look really didn't pan out. Instead, it came off more sad and defeated. The next 90 minutes after that was spent waiting to see the nurse while sitting on a bench next to a tall, skinny, fidgety guy with shifty eyes who wore a black security t-shirt that Jeff found more than a bit ironic. The lobby consisted of a few cops leisurely moving around and having casual banter with each other, while seemingly perfecting the art of ignoring those in the room going through the booking process. During this entire time, making calls were forbidden. Why? Because you had to see the nurse first. Why? "Because that's how it is," replied the totally cliche, large, bullish, obnoxiously loud officer by the front desk. Jeff determined at that point that any further investigation would be fruitless and probably counterproductive. 2 others went in before Jeff, both taking no more than 15 minutes each. Jeff couldn't understand what the extra hour of lag time was for, other than to taunt those who were waiting. Finally, it was Jeff's turn. The nurse, who looked visibly miserable, checks him out, asks him what he's allergic to, what meds he's on. "Why is this necessary?" Jeff asked. "In case you're incarcerated for an extended period of time," she replied. "What are you in here for?" she asked. "I left a mattress by a gas station dumpster," he said. She looked at him, waiting for the punchline. "You're kidding." "Nope." She gets a disgusted look. "This really is getting ridiculous," she said, noting that she's observed a series of arrests lately that have been getting out of hand. After that, she apologizes for her demeanor, and she warms up. From there, Jeff gets yelled at by the cliche, bullish officer for not heading over to the correct window to get his PIN number to use the phone. "I told you 5 times where to go," he said, in reality rounding that number up by 3. Jeff attempts to call his lawyer and his wife, but has to call collect. But collect calls don't work on cell phones. He's informed that it's a $502 bond in cash to get out, or just $100 to call a bail bondsman. $100 sounds like a better deal, so he calls the bail bondsman numbers on the phone. No luck on the first 2. The third one he tries, collect, finally picks up. The bondsman, or more accurately, bondswoman, said it could be 2 to 4 hours after the bond is posted until he could get out. She said she'll need to speak with someone who can post the money on his behalf and meet her somewhere to do so. He gives his wife's number, but also knows she's in the middle of a deposition at work, probably won't pick up the phone, and typically doesn't check her voicemails. It's at this point when Jeff starts to think he could be in here for a while. And clearly, others felt the same. Shortly thereafter, Jeff is informed that he'll be going into a cell since he may be here for a while. He's led into the women's bathroom, which included a window to a warehouse-type room that housed all the clothes and linens. He's instructed to strip naked and get into prison garb. He then slides his clothes through a slot in the bathroom window to the man on the other side. From there, he's told to walk down a long, dark, narrow hallway, to stay on the right of the black line and follow it to the end where another officer would lead him to a cell. There are echoes of screams and crazy laughter in the background. Just like on TV in the movies, Jeff thinks to himself. He's led into a room with 2 stories of individual jail cells, rows of about 6 on top of each other, each with bunk beds, a small table, and a metal toilet. He would be on the 2nd floor, at the very end. There are at least 4 other occupants, only to be seen when en route to one's own cell, including a talkative one with good intentions, who tried to get others involved in the conversation. This eventually included Jeff, which he was afraid would happen. He was referred to as New Guy. At first, he remained silent, hoping that another new guy would respond. Then he second-guessed if ignoring other inmates would be the most effective course of action. "What are you in for, new guy?" "Littering," Jeff replied matter-of-factly, hoping that the brief subsequent chuckle was in response to perceived sarcasm. Jeff learned the chatty inmate has had a rough go of it. His best friend died in his arms at 21. His brother died of a rare disease at 27. He's been shot 4 times, stabbed twice. Now he's 30 and has lost his direction in life. That he didn't know where or whom to turn to. That he feels like he's doing his best, but his best just isn't good enough. Jeff sadly nods his head, not only to sympathize, but because he can relate. He felt compelled to say something reassuring, but didn't, for fear he may say the wrong thing. Another couple hours passed, perhaps the slowest hours of Jeff's life. There were extended periods of stone-cold silence, with the exception of the faint sounds of screams and wicked laughter. Jeff began to lose all concept of time. He began to envision a circumstance where he could eventually go crazy dealing with all the nothingness around him. "You learn to sleep when you can around here, not when you want," said the talkative inmate to no one in particular. Jeff saw that as good advice. Just then, or maybe an hour later, there was no way of knowing for sure, Jeff's cell automatically swung open. He's out. He heads back to the bathroom, the men's room this time, to get redressed. Led down the other direction of the long, dark, narrow hallway, then awaits another half hour next to a man who desperately needed deodorant to go through the process of getting released at the window. Jeff signs paperwork, gets his stuff back, and is told his court date is TBA. $19 in bills were removed from his wallet because there's a $20 processing fee. "So you're saying I still owe you $1? Jeff asked. "Well, we're not going to go after you for it," the guy at the counter said. "Are you sure?" Jeff replied. Jeff gets picked up by his wife, gets home, and is about to decompress in bed for the day. Then he gets a text from his neighbor.
"Are you okay?"
His neighbor asks. Apparently he saw something on Facebook. Jeff's heart sinks, fearful of even asking the next, but inevitable question. Saw what?
"Well, the mugshot."
Thank you for listening to The Mattress by Jeff Glauser. Jeff Glauser is a freelance writer, digital marketing, and public relations professional. Over the past 20 years, his works have been featured in dozens of publications around the world, including regular contributions for the Associated Press and Bleacher Report. Jeff has previously served as an adjunct professor of composition and creative writing. He currently lives in St. Augustine, Florida, with his family. All sounds you hear come from YouTube's recently launched royalty-free audio library. The specific track you are hearing is being used under a CC0 1.0 Universal Public Domain Dedication license. That does it this week for Prose. Another very sincere thank you to Mr. Glauser for sharing some of his work with us. We can all look forward to some more from him and other amazing guest authors in the near and distant futures. As you all continue about your day, I hope that you'll remember to love those around you. Tell them that you do and embrace this life as it is always stranger than fiction. Thank you for listening. See you next time.